This is the new Audi e-tron Sportback, and it's a little bit like Greta Thunberg wearing Prada because while it's supposed to be all eco-friendly, it's mainly focused about looking cool. Is this car any good? Well, we're going to find out. You see, what I've got here is the S version, which means it has tri-motors, 1, 2, 3 motors, so it should have good performance. But we'll see just how quick it is because later on in this video, I'm going to launch it. I'll obviously take it for a drive as well, and I'll show you inside and outside and what's good and bad about it. Anyway, I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Carwow.
Buying a new car? Then head to Carwow and my team will help you find your next car at a fair price. Carwow, your one-stop car buying comparison site.
Let's start off this video by talking about the price. So the e-tron Sportback kicks off at £69,000. However, if you want a tri-motor version, you're talking £87,000, and this particular car I've got here is £95,000. Thankfully, you can save an average of almost £9,000 off an e-tron Sportback through Carwow. And if you want to go to Carwow to see how much you can save on a new car, click on the pop-out banner up there to go straight to the website. Alternatively, there is a link below the video. And if you want to watch this video, or maybe just do it a month or two down the line, all you have to do is Google "Help Me Carwow," and my team and I will help you choose the right car for you and get it for a fair price from one of our trusted dealers. Let's talk about the design. This is the Sportback, and it's got the sporty back, of course, which means it's more steeply rated than the normal e-tron. What does that do for boot space and back seat headroom? We'll find out in a bit. But first of all, let's talk about the extra elements you get on this car, such as that boot lip spoiler. As with the normal e-tron, you do just get the nice light bar running across the back of the car, and you've got lights that do all kinds of funny dances and stuff, and scrolly indicators. Lovely. This particular model, look, e-tron S, because it's got the tri-motors, and as a result you get these extra silvery bits of trim which make it look a bit more sporty. Kind of helps brighten it up, even though obviously in this orange paint it's already pretty blooming bright. Don't think many people are going to spec this colour. You get 21-inch alloys on this car, and these are the upgraded ones which have these black inserts. They look really good actually. Once again, being an S, you get slightly widened wheel arches, make it look a bit more aggressive, and some more silver trim around the windows and down here as well. It's got some side skirts on it as well. Ooh. Also, the S model gets silver door mirror covers. Oh look, there's S logos on the brakes as well. Right, moving up the front, look at that. Look at that grille. I'm not sure about the look of that because obviously it doesn't need a huge grille because it's got an electric motor. Well, 3 electric motors. It hasn't got an engine that needs cooling. That's a bit overkill. And so they filled it in, and it's almost like it's got like metal teeth. Once again, you've got the silvery trim on this S version. And look, these vents actually feed air over the wheels to help improve the aerodynamics. And you've got lovely headlights which do the whole kind of dance thing when you turn the car off and on. Looks pretty good. Let's go check out the inside. Well, this is nice. It's very nice actually. The dash design is cool. Material quality generally top notch, though when you reach a bit further down things do get a little bit scratchy, but it's okay. I like the design of the centre console as well. It's interesting. There's places for your cup holders there. You've got your 12-volt socket, your wireless charging, some more storage under here. The glove box is a weird old shape, but it goes back so far. Look at that. Look how far that goes back. I'm going to leave that in there because I want to show you that the door bins are huge as well. This is very practical here in the front. It is dominated by these screens. So you've got 1, 2, 3. You're going to have to turn the car on to show it you. Come on. There we go. Illuminate. There we are. So it's Audi's usual infotainment system, which is easy to use. Quite bright the screen is. It's responsive. And you have your climate controls down there. It's not quite as good as twiddly buttons, but it's good, it's intuitive, and it's quick. The digital driver's display is very, very good, and you can actually control most of the car's functions, which is what I tend to do, and you can change all the look of it and the layout and all that kind of thing. It's great. Driving position is good. Look at that adjustment, loads of it. Same with the seats. In fact, I'm going to get into my ideal driving position right now. You can get it really high if you want a better view out, but you do sit quite high in this car anyway, which is good. Oh, I just noticed that. The gear selector, which isn't a gear selector, it's more just a switch for going forwards or backwards or park. Quite like that. Nice bit of design. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's check out the back seats. This is the big question. What has happened to this rear headroom with this sloping roofline? Am I going to be all right? And I am actually all right. Look, I've got that much headroom. Not quite as good as in the normal e-tron. And if you want to see how much space is in the back of that, put a link up there. Click on that. You can go watch my video of that car. See if you need that one rather than this Sportback. But knee room's really good. These seats are comfy. I like them. You can't move them. You can't recline them. They are as they are. Look, that's it. That's your lot. But it's comfy enough. You've got some big door bins there. I'm having to keep the back door open because it's quite dark. And if I shut it, probably won't be able to see quite so well. Although you will then notice the interior ambient lighting really standing out. That's cool. Quality back here is pretty decent as well. Wait a minute. That's not quite as soft as in the front. Anyway, I'll open that door back up so you can see. The floor is completely flat pretty much, so there's plenty of room for everyone's feet. This seat needs to be slid forwards because it was way too far back. So that's better. Look, it's nice and even now. In the middle, then if you can see this, my head is just touching the roofline. So yeah, if you're going to be carrying 3 people in the back at once, you might be better off with a normal e-tron. Look at this, ISOFIX anchor points are easy to access under these flip-off covers. Shame they don't just flip up, they're removable, so you might lose them. When it comes to fitting a child seat in here, it's actually pretty easy and there's plenty of space for even a bulky rear-facing seat. When you fold this down, you've got a nice big comfy armrest. And if you fold this whole section down, you can carry longer items and a person either side here in the back. There's a pointless storage area there. I suppose you can put your mobile phone in there and then you can charge it from one of those 2 USB-C charging points or 12-volt socket. Final thing to point out, you've got some nets on the seat backs where you can store your iPads and stuff like that. Okay, let's go check out the boot. So, how much of an impact has this sloping tailgate had on it? Well, the capacity is a fairly decent size and you can fit 7 carry-on cases in the boot. Now, Jaguar I-Pace's boot is ever so slightly larger. Not by much, but it is larger. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, I'll put a link just up there. Click on that, you can go watch it if you want to. There's also a link below the video. There is a bit of a boot lip, but it's not too bad. And you've got this scuff plate, so you can easily slide things out like that. Underneath here, you have some more storage where you can just fill it with lots of random stuff. Can I fit this in there? Come on, Audi. I don't think it will just shut. Look. Oh, that is so annoying. Almost, but not quite. Still, there are some other useful practical features in this boot, such as really posh feeling tie-down tethers like that. And of course, you've got your 12-volt socket there, so you can plug in your vacuum cleaner and hoover out the boot from all your dog hairs. There is one thing that I find really annoying. To fold down the rear seats, I have to go back around here, get inside and come on, do it from the seat backs. But once you do, you've got a continuous load area there. The seats don't lie completely flat, as you can see, but you can still shove heavy items to the front. Electrical tailgate, obviously. Now, let's move to the front, because obviously being an electric car, there's no engine at the front. I'll just pop the bonnet. You do it in the normal way like you would on an internal combustion engine car. Just open this up. It's held up on gas struts, really posh. And here is the front boot, the fruit. So, how much space have we got here? Not really much. They haven't made the most out of this space. Just enough space for your charging cables. The front boot on a Tesla Model X is bigger. And if you want to see my review of that car, the link is just popping out there. Go click on that. Anyway, that brings on to 5 annoying things about the e-tron Sportback. This is one heavy ass car. Even the normal model with a smaller battery weighs in at almost 2.5 tons, whereas this one with the 3 motors and the larger battery, 2.7 tons. That's heavier than a Rolls-Royce Phantom. If you'd like to carry 6 passengers in your electric SUV, then you're going to need a Tesla Model X, because this e-tron Sportback is a 5-seater only. Yeah, I don't know why I'm in this position either. The rear windows don't really go down very far at all. Look at this. And that is your lot. There may be some storage under the armrest, but if you want cup holders in the armrest as well, which flop out of here, you have to get them as part of a pack, and that's an extra £125. Yes, believe it or not, this car, which is almost 100 grand on the road, doesn't have cup holders in the back as standard. This car's actual usable battery capacity is 86.5 kilowatt hours. Now we've been driving it around for a while and we've averaged 2.1 miles for every kilowatt used. That means that if you do the maths, a full battery on this would only get you 182 miles. It's not very good. I'm not sure why I'm swinging this around. It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car. I'm quite simple because I'm very, very pleased by puddle lighting. Look, and you get it on the front and the rear doors in this car. Can you see? Look at that. Lovely e-tron. This car has super duper headlamps and they can do more than just a little dance when you open the car or lock it. They can actually project images and you can choose between different animations for your hello and your goodbye when you open and close the car. You can also do things like highlight on the road in front of you, the car in front, so when it's dark you know exactly where it is. Pretty cool. This S version of the e-tron Sportback has torque vectoring across the rear axle because you've got 2 motors back here and they each control an individual wheel so they can maximise traction as you're coming out of corners. That's me coming out of corners. Are you into horses but you still want an electric vehicle? Well, this car has a very good towing limit for an EV, 1.8 tonnes. This car uses its satellite navigation system to decide whether it's best to let the car just coast and freewheel or to use its regenerative braking to slow you down because you're about to come to a junction or a low speed limit, and you can then use that to top up the battery. Now let's talk about motors and batteries. So the e-tron Sportback range kicks off with the 50 model. That gets a 71 kilowatt hour battery pack and 2 electric motors, one at the front, one at the back, so you're 4-wheel drive, and they put out 313 horsepower maximum. Then there's the 55 model. That gets a bigger 95 kilowatt hour battery pack, and that has a motor at the front, a motor at the back, and combined they put out a maximum of 408 horsepower when you're on a special boost mode. Then there's this S version, and like I said before, that has tri-motors, 1 at the front, 2 at the back, and combined you have 503 horsepower. That's maximum output on boost mode. This also has a 95 kilowatt hour battery pack. So the range with the e-tron Sportback varies between 188 miles for the entry-level 50 model up to 241 miles for the e-tron Sportback 55 model. However, this sporty S model manages a range of 226 miles according to Audi. You can charge them all from between 0 to 80% full in around 30 minutes. You can charge the 55 in this S model at a rate of 150 kilowatts, whereas the 50 model can only be charged up to 120 kilowatts maximum. Now, which version of the e-tron Sportback should you go for with which trim level? Well, I'm actually going to configure my perfect e-tron Sportback here using the carwow configurator. And now I'm going to get some offers back, and if you want to see what model I've configured and the offer I've got back from one of our trusted dealers, you can click on the pop-out banner up there to go check it out. So then, what's this Audi e-tron Sportback like to drive? Well, surprisingly, it's exactly the same as the normal e-tron. It really doesn't make a difference, I don't think, by having the sportier body style. As a result, it's super, super comfy, this thing. Just for mooching around town, it's quiet, you've got really good sound insulation. The air suspension just smooths out the bumps really, really well. You don't feel them at all. It's very, very comfy. It's also easy to maneuver. Visibility is all right. This is a bit of a blind spot, but it's actually not that thick. And even though you've got that steeply raised rear screen, it's quite big. You get a decent view out the back, so that's handy when you're parking. But of course, you've got a reversing camera and all-round parking sensors, so it's quite easy to park. And you sat up high, so you're getting a good view out over the traffic. Now, when you get on the motorway, it really does just absolutely pick up, especially this tri-motor version. I'm at 40 miles an hour. Look how quick you get to 70. Yeah, that's easily quick enough. Do that too often though and you will eat into your charge. How about a twisty road? What is this car like? Well, there is a problem, and it's the fact that it's so very heavy. Doesn't lean too badly because the batteries are low down, so it means the centre of gravity is low, but you do start to feel its weight when you really start to push it through a twisty road. It doesn't feel that sporty despite being called Sportback. But you're not going to drive a car like this by hooning it round twisty roads, because if you are, you're going to find it starting to wash wide as those poor front tyres struggle to cope with all that bulk. But for most of the time, and how you're going to drive normally, yes, it'll hold onto the road well enough. And of course, you've got four-wheel drive traction for accelerating out of bends and for coping for when it's slippy, like it is today. Finally then, let's see what this tri-motor version is like from 0 to 60 miles an hour. So on boost phase, which you get for 8 seconds, you have almost 1,000 Newton meters of torque. Normally, when you're driving around, you have 800 Newton meters of torque and 435 horsepower rather than the 508 I'm about to have now when I boost it. Come on, what are you going to do? Got my specialist timing gear up here on the dash. I'm going to launch it. Pretty quick. What we got? What we got? What we got? What we got? What are we going to do? Whoa! 3.9 seconds to 60. 4.5 Audi says. That is quick. Not as quick as the quickest Tesla Model X can do, but still quick nonetheless. However, that's only for 8 seconds and then it'll tail off, which is a bit rubbish, but there we go. Why can't they just give you that performance the whole time? It's like, you're paying all that money for your tri-motors, give it me the whole time. So then, what's my final verdict on the Audi e-tron Sportback? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, in the case of this S version, I'd say avoid it because the extra performance really isn't worth the extra cash. For the other versions of the e-tron Sportback, you should shortlist them because they look sportier than the normal e-tron and you don't sacrifice too much practicality. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. If you click on that video window there, you can watch me drag race an Audi e-tron, and if you click on that window down there, you can watch me drive one until it runs out of battery. Oh, and if you click on that box there, you can go to carwow to see how much money you can save on a new car. Thanks for watching.